Well, if Obius had to die at any point, I guess when I was out is the best. I'm gonna actually do this book one first. Um, so I should probably make a Trello board for this. Okay, thank you, Teddy. Uh, anyway. So, I want a add category button. That will add a specific... That will add a category. I don't know what else to say. Within a category, have a add item button that will add a item to said category. Within a category, have a current item element that will show what the user is currently doing. And then as a stretch goal, within a category, have when an item is set to the current item, make it have a starting and ending date that the player, rather the user, can change at any point. And we're gonna link these two. Not link, but I'm gonna add it to... I don't want to add. I want to attach. Can I just? Okay. Do this first. automatically, when the item is chosen as the current item, automatically set the starting date to now when and then when have a checkbox that will say when the player is done with the item and automatically set the ending date. Okay, so I want this to be a GUI because I don't feel like typing things out. So there's a few things I need to do first. Oh yeah, and saving. So how would I draw this out? Damn it. So when the thing first starts, when the application first starts, you're going to see a list of categories. And then it's going to have a list of categories, so it's going to have name, and then you're going to say, and then a button to have to go into it, so that's going to have to be called select, and then it's going to have one that's going to be delete. And then we're going to do that 3 times. No, we're just going to, if none there, right NA. Okay. And then at the bottom, we're going to have a button called add category. Okay. Now, I gotta figure out how to do Python, because I have never used this before. So what is an easy Python GUI I can use?
make them, I will use tkinter, the default user interface framework in Python, and I will cover all of it before making the apps. I start with the basics, things like buttons, sliders, and text. Then I go over how to create pretty much any kind of layout, including responsive and scrollable ones. Finally, I cover styling, which will include animations, themes, and scaling images. By the end of this video, you should be able to...
18 hours? Oh dear, I don't need one that long. Maybe I do, we'll see.
Kind of user interface in Python. Alright, so let's get started with tkinter. And already, I want to start by making one app that is going to be very simple, but it's going to look something like this. In here, we have the miles technologies. We have entry field, we can type any kind of number, and if you convert it, you get the output in 3 minutes. A very simple app, but it is going to cover all of the basics of tkinter. Although, let's talk about these basics first. To make any kind of app in tkinter, you need 3 major components. The first one is called widgets. If I show you again, a widget, for example, could be a button, it could be some text, it could be an entry field. All of these are widgets. tkinter has quite a few of them. You're going to learn all of them. Although for now, I'm only going to cover 3 different ones. Text, an entry field, a button, and another bit of text. Besides that, we have layout. This one determines how the widgets are arranged on the window. For example, in the app you can see here, we have a top-down arrangement where we have 3 different rows, and then inside of the middle one, in here, we have 2 different columns. One for the entry field and one for the button. This will be a very simple layout. Obviously, you can make much more complex ones. Finally, we have style. Style, for example, determines the color of the button, the font of the text, the size of this text, and so on. We can also set the background color and lots of different things. All of this is inside of the style. If you understand these 3 main components, you are going to have a fairly easy time designing whatever kind of app you want to create in tkinter. That being said, each of these parts can be quite extensive, and I have lots of videos on every single one of them, and to understand them in detail, it is going to take you some hours. Now, to get started with this app here, I am going to skip over a lot of the details that I will cover in future videos. So let me explain how you can follow along for this video. There are 3 ways you can approach this. How I would recommend you to follow along is to download the code and then just play around with the code and follow along as I create this app from scratch. That way, you're not going to get too lost and you can just play around and change some individual values and see what happens. Besides that,
I love when people put their source code open. I have tried to follow a lot of video tutorials that either don't explain it well or don't have good quality videos, so you can't really see what's going on. And so if you miss something, you get lost very easily. So I'm very, very happy that people have the source code public. I also seen people, like, put their source code behind a paywall, and honestly, that's just scummy to me. Like, why are you making a tutorial? Why make a tutorial if you're just going to, put part of it, most likely a vital part of it, behind a paywall? It just doesn't seem right to me. I have thought of, making those source codes, like, public, like, basically redoing them myself. And then saying, hey, if y'all want to see the link here, but that's just too much work. I have other things I need to do.
You can also follow from scratch and don't worry too much about the details. Because at this stage, you don't really need to understand every single bit, you just need to have a very basic overview of how tkinter works with all of the individual bits. Finally, you can also skip this video and go straight into the separate parts. You are not going to miss anything. Although I guess if you follow this video, you have a tiny bit of a head start to see how the different parts connect with each other. But just to emphasize, for this video, you don't have to understand every single bit of tkinter. I am just going to cover the really basics, and over the next couple of videos, we're going to flesh out all of this in a lot of detail. So just relax, follow along, and if you understand even 10%, you already have a read.
Wait, are these in parts? Because I would prefer if these were in parts. I don't want to skim through an 18-hour video. Oh wait, no, there are time skips. Never mind. That's fine.
We can start. So let's jump in and let's create an app. Here I have a completely empty Python file, and to get started, I want to import tkinter, and this is usually abbreviated as tk. Besides that, I also want from tkinter import ttk. Inside of ttk, we have all of the widgets that we actually want to use, while tk gives us the basic logic. Once we have that, we can create a window, or the main window.
Great. So first thing I need to do is figure out how to install Python, because I've never done that before. 150, 21. Let's try this one.
Today we're diving into setting up Python in VS Code. I'm going to guide you through step-by-step pointing out what extension to install, how to configure what's needed, and share some tips to optimize your development environment. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned developer, this video will get you up and running in no time. Okay, so let's jump right in. To get started with using Python with VS Code, you have an option to install Python from its website, python.org, to download and install the latest version for your operating system, whether on Mac or Windows. But if you are on a Mac, you have a second option to install it using Homebrew. If you don't have Homebrew, you'll just need to install it using this line from the terminal that you see here. And it is the preferred method, so that's what I'll go ahead and do. I'll confirm I have Brew.
Okay, Python is set
Install
up.
by typing brew hyphen version. And to install it, I'll simply type in brew install Python 3. Now to check the version of Python that's been installed, I'll enter Python hyphen version, and there we go. When installing from Windows, make sure you have the box add Python to path check. On Windows, you'll want to use this command.
Okay. Great, I have Python installed, yippee.
Now we use Homebrew to install it, but we could have easily downloaded a package which would look like this and install it. Now the next thing that we want to do is install our Python extension. Now you might be
First of all, I'm going to make it so this is a new project. I don't really care where this new project is, but I do not want to delete it. And then we're going to call this to do randomizer. And yeah, we'll just put it here, and then we'll just cd this. Oh, fuck off. Do I gotta do this? Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, actually, this would have been easier if I just did file, upload, file, open folder, and go right here. Terminal, new terminal, and then it will open in the same place, correct? Yes, great. Cool. I will upload this to Git in a minute.
asking, wait a minute, didn't I just install Python? Why do I need to install the extension? Well, what we actually installed before was the Python interpreter. And if you dug into the documentation, you'll start seeing that they refer to it as Python interpreter there, which is essentially the runtime, which allows you to execute Python scripts and a suite of tools and libraries. But what about if you want to do some fancy things like formatting, linting, and code navigation? That's when the Python extension comes into play. And when you install it, it will also install the Python debugger for debugging Python code. And in addition to that, it will also include the extension for Pylance, which is essentially IntelliSense. So I'll go ahead and install the extension, and you can see the extension for the debugger is installed as well as for Pylance. The next thing that you want to do is create a virtual environment. Once you activate that environment, any packages you then install are isolated from other environments. So let me just get started by creating a file that we'll call demo.py and just add a simple print statement. We'll save that and just test it real quick by typing in python 3 demo.py. Perfect. Now if I wanted to add a package related to Discord, common
What do you mean Python wasn't found? Python was not found. Run an argument. Run. I don't get it. Am I in PowerShell? I am in PowerShell. What if I restart the terminal? Okay. This is PowerShell. How the fuck do I get out of here? I really did not want to do this. No, they set up. I have Python 3.13 scripts and just Python 3.13.
on in this lesson, we can see how we can fix that
And
sometimes.
how many... Where does this go?
If you install Python on the computer, and just tell install it right here, but if you check the Python version, we'll set Python is not that. So there are some little settings on the computer, we have done that. For me, I've already done, and we need to locate. As you can see, the Python is right here, Python 3.10, 64-bit edition. Right-click, then click on uninstall. On the UAC, click on yes, then it will start the installation process. It might take a while, just be patient, and the installation process is depending on your computer's hardware. Check setup file that you are downloading from the. Once the Python is installed in your computer, just simply double click on the Python setup file that you are downloading from the python.org. Then you just simply need to click on customize installation. Before that, make sure to check this add Python to part. Then click on next. Then make sure to click on install for all users. Then click on install. On the UAC, just simply click on yes. We'll start the installation process. Then if the installation has been completed, now search for Python version. Then the Python version and the Python version and Python actual app will show up as the version in the command prompt, PowerShell, or Windows terminal. You just simply need to enable the functionality called install for all users, and you're good to go, and you can just go through that. Anyways, the Python version.
Oh my god, that's annoying. I will try it, but I will be very upset if it does not work. Okay, Python v... I'm going to shoot myself. No, even that's not working. I pressed the wrong one. Okay, no, I just have to restart the terminal. So then if I do python demo.py, yay, it fixed itself, great. I can actually get back to the video, Jesus Christ.
Approach is to use the pip command. So if I did that, you'll notice that I get this error because we're in a normal folder that knows nothing about the pipe command and can't manage packages from here. But we can solve this by creating a virtual environment. So if I go to my command palette, Command Shift P, I can type in Python create environment, or select it if I see it in the menu as I do here, which then presents us a list of environment types, of which I'll choose the first one, Venv. Now we're presented with a list of interpreters that can be used for my project. I'll choose the latest one, 3.12. And you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, it's creating our environment. And now at the blue status bar towards the bottom, you'll see our environment is indicated. If you ever need to change it, you can just click here to change it, but we'll leave it as is. You'll also notice on the left-hand corner, we have a new folder with the extension .venv for our virtual environment. That includes a bin, include, and lib folder, along with the configuration file. If I try to run this command again, it won't work, but that's just because we now need to essentially refresh our terminal by killing it. I'll open up a new one, Control Tick, and now you can see the difference in the terminal because the prompt begins with .venv. I can clear the screen and now try to run my command for installing Discord, and it seems to be working beautifully, and we can confirm that by going to the library folder, and we can see some Discord folders that's been installed. Now earlier on I had showed you how I executed my Python file just by using a simple command, such as this. But there's a couple of things I want to show you. The first is that there's other ways to execute Python files, such as right here next to the play button. If you hit the drop down, there's a few options to run code, run Python file, and dedicated terminal, in addition to a couple of options for debugger. So I can go ahead and run Python file, and that will essentially have the same result, though with a little bit more content in the terminal. The other thing that I want to point out is that you can actually run several Python commands within the terminal by launching the REPL terminal. So if I go to the command palette, Command Shift P, and type in REPL, I'll get this option here to start terminal REPL. And REPL stands for read, evaluate, print, loop. And you know you're at the right spot when you see the three arrows to the left. And here I could put in some math equation if I wanted. Hit enter, it gives me the answer. There's a lot more to do, like what you see here. In short, it's a great way to quickly experiment, debug, or test small code snippets with Python syntax without creating a new script file. And when I'm ready to get out, I can just hit Control D, and I'm back to where I was. Now there are a few things I want to show you in respect to code navigation and debugging, but that requires a little bit more code, so let's set that up. Now, because of the extensions and the way that we set up our environment, we have a lot more flexibility to navigate when we have a lot more code. So for example, I can go to one of my methods here, like many other IDEs, find all references, and quickly be able to jump to any other part of the code that I want to examine. The same applies to if I wanted to go onto a class and go to definition, it'll bring me right there. When I'm actually coding, I have that great IntelliSense that gives me information on any object I'm referencing, including functions and attributes. And more importantly, when it comes to debugging, if you recall, when we click this drop down here, we can begin the debugging process with the file here, or debug using launch.json if we have one configured. Now, I haven't done that yet, but I want to show you the other way to get that done is to come over here to the left-hand pane and click Run and Debug. And here we can come to create a launch.json file, at which point we could choose Python Debugger. And now we get to see all these other Python projects that we can configure a launch.json file for, whether it be FastAPI, Django, Flask. Let's go ahead and choose Python file. And here VS Code will give you the most common configuration, which is set up like this. Now, if I wanted to add more configurations for my setup, I can just go ahead and click here, but I'm not going to do that now. Configuring launch.json is going to be a whole video in itself, and I actually do have another video on debugging in VS Code, which is going to be broken up into two parts. So if you'd like to have that second part where I focus on launch.json configuration, include demonstrating Python, go ahead and mention in the comments Python launch.json. For now, I want to go ahead and just demonstrate the debugging process by first setting a breakpoint on line 20, and then on the left-hand side, clicking on the Start Debugging Play button. And if you're familiar with the debugging process from other code editors, this menu may seem familiar, where we can step over a method, into, out of, restart the process, and stop the debugging process, or just continue. So if I want to go ahead and just step into this current method, it'll bring me there, and you'll notice on the left-hand side, we can start monitoring variables, such as wage. If we have any global variables or want to add like specific variables to keep an eye on under watch, we can do that. But at this point, I just want to show how to get the debugging process started. And again, there's another video completely on debugging. But for now, you pretty much have all the basic requirements to move on with your development process with Python and VS Code. The last thing that I want to show you is that a lot of the information that I covered in this video came right from the documentation, which is done very well with lots of visuals and step-by-step information. So check it out. So even cover topics that was not covered, such as more details regarding setting things up in Django, FastAPI, Flask, topics such as testing, and a lot more. And there you have it. You successfully set up Python and VS Code. I hope you found this tutorial helpful to work on your Python projects. If you learned something new and enjoyed this video,
TTK, we have all of the widgets that we actually want to use, while TK gives us the basic logic. Once we have that, we can create a window, or the main window we put everything else on. This we create with TK and then TK. This we have to call is going to return an object that I want to store inside of a window variable. For this one, you do want to be careful here with what letters are uppercase and lowercase. Basically, everything's lowercase besides the second T. With this, we have a window, although if I run the app now, nothing's going to happen. Although we don't have a crash, that's usually a good start. To actually see something, we have to call
Hello.
what is called the main loop. Let me have another section here called run, and I want to call the main loop method on the object we just created. Now to run this, we have the base window. And
Something like that, yeah. Just mainly learning Python. Oh, sweet.
And on this window, we can already make some changes. For example, I can get to the window and set the title. This is just a string, let me call it demo. It runs now, in the top left, we have demo. Besides that,
Demo. What do I want to run this? I just call it to do. Yeah, I'll actually switch the screens. To do. Picker, I guess.
we can also set the size of the
Actually, I'll call it to do tracker. That's gonna be a little confusing with habit tracker. I'll just stick to randomizer because that's the name of the thing. I can always change it later. Randomizer.
This we do with window dot. Geometry. In here, again, we're going to need a string. This string wants the width and the height separated by an x. For example, in my case, I want the app to be 300 pixels wide and 150 pixels high. If it runs now, we have a much smaller app. Next up, I want to create the first widget. Let me have another section here called title. And the widget I want to create is called label. This label I want to store in a variable, let me call it title label. Label in tkinter is just a fancy word for text. And this label we create with ttk.label. In here, we need a couple of arguments. The really important one is we need to set a master. And the master is basically the parent, which in our case is going to be the window. The way you want to think about it is that this label needs to be in some kind of container. And the only container we have right now is the main window. After that, I want to create some text. So the actual text this label is going to display. In my case, I want to display miles to kilometers. And with that, we have a label widget. Although, if I run the app now, we cannot see any kind of text. The reason for that is that we need another kind of method to place this label on this window. Tkinter has quite a few of those, but I'm going to use the simplest one, it's called peg. Now to run this again, we can see miles to kilometers.
Oh, I forgot this is in Python. They do. Is it snake case? Yeah, snake case. No, I want. Label. I don't know why I'm not getting the IntelliSense. Category. And then we're gonna do title, or do this, and then do this, and then dot pack. I forgot I'm not allowed to use semicolons.
Although, what I am quite happy about is the font size. This one we can also change by adding another font name argument, and in here, we need a string, then we need the font and the font size. The font size, in my case, is 24, and the font I want to use is called Kanji.
Nice.
Now once again, we have a much larger piece of text. What you can also do is add something like bold in here. That one would give me bold text. Next up, I want to create the input field. If I run the app again, the input field is going to be this area here. For this one, I want to have an entry field next to a button.
I just want a
Although,
button.
what is really important here is that both of these widgets are inside of a larger container. So essentially, we have to create 3 different widgets here. But let's go through it step by step. First of all, I want to create what is called a, let's call it input frame. This is going to be TTK and frame. This, like the label, is going to be the parent or a master, which again is going to be the window, which means I want to set the master to window. Besides that, the frame doesn't need anything else. Now I have a frame that I can put widgets into. And I want to put an entry instead of
Or should I try something? How do I do a list in Python? Oh, it's literally just an array. Okay. What do I want to name this? Categories? Save categories? Yeah. Let's make that empty, and then we'll just do if saved categories, and then is it like len, and then equals 0. Actually, I'm just gonna do it with print is empty, and then is it else? Do I have to put these here? Or no? I don't know why my compiler's not working. And then actually we'll just print this out. It's empty, great. What if I put A, B, C? Yeah, whatever. 3, great. So if it is empty, I want to... I'll get rid of this for now. If there are no categories, make a label to show that. Otherwise, list the categories with their own label. Okay, so I want to rename this because this is bad, so we're going to call it category label title. Hello. Why do you say Python GUIs are meh? I have no idea. I'm just doing it just to learn the language. And then we'll make one called category label. And it's just gonna be this. I kind of want to make this a helper method, honestly, because I don't feel like writing. Can I return a label? Fair. Make label. What is the Python methods or functions rather? Are they camel? They're camel case. They're camel case? Not camel case, snake case. Okay. So I want to make a label called this, and I want to give it a master. I want to give it some text, and so we're gonna say tt-key label this. I hope, okay, it doesn't seem like they're confused. Cool. And we'll say text as this. And then we'll say label pack. And then return label. And so if I comment this out and then just say this, will it work? What's wrong with this? So I don't have syntax on. I don't know why, because this should have been caught. I don't know if I missed something. I do have the Python extension. Alright, I need to figure out what's wrong with this. VS Code Python. What's the word? Python, I do not know what Pylance is, so I'm gonna say no. How would I check? Okay. Oh, I do, apparently. I have two of them for some reason. Oh no, there's Python and Pylance, but yes, I do have both. You have to click the actual... Oh. Oh, dang it. I see. I see. This thing. Oh, I see. Just auto import completions. Which is such defaults, and I generally don't know what that means. Oh, it's not installed? Oh. If I just restart my... Interesting. I don't know what you mean by language server. I fixed it. Thank God this is not my first language. Or my first time working with Python, rather, but still. Oh, I see. Is it possible that I maybe have too many extensions talking to each other? Like I maybe have another Python extension that's unneeded? It doesn't seem like it. Categories, great. Oh, sweet, then I don't need this. Yeah, I don't know. I followed a tutorial with using Python. It was this one, but it didn't really mention anything. It did mention syntax. I mean, like IntelliSense, but it just didn't come up for me.
I had showed you how I executed my Python right here. Now I can go ahead and you can see screen and now try to run my command for installing Discord.
Windows Python, as opposed to what do you mean? Like, oh no, I got it from python.org. I downloaded, can I read the compiler interpreter output? Yes, but it would be a lot easier to, just see. I'd rather just see it there before I print it. Because what happens if, like, I'm making something that takes a lot of time and I don't know what's wrong with it? I have to run it every time. That's just annoying to me. Whoops. Pi.0. You just use the Python number or Python version. Not Python for install via Windows Store. Turn on install via Windows Store. I am not sure what you mean, Misty Pie. Like, I'm not sure what to do to fix this, because... Oh, you're just saying just use Pi and then just say demo? Like that? How would that, how does that fix my, Oh, I see. So I would probably need to set up my environment variables again, because, like... I'm not sure. All I did was I used the default settings from python.org here, but instead of, like, installing... And I had the installer itself set the path, and instead of, I did add a check mark in order for it to install on all users on this computer. So I'm not sure what else to... set in. Oops. Seems to be... Yeah, I don't know if it's doing anything right now. Do you think I should just, like, wipe Python from my computer and you can, like, run me through what I'm supposed to do? And it's through the installation process? Cool. I'm gonna just put this on a notepad for now. I'll keep the extensions, but I'll just... Yeah, this is the environment. Oh no, virtual setup, or virtual environment, that's the word, right? Yeah. I remember that. Why do we have to say Ven twice? Oh, I see. Also, I don't know what this means and why it's been, like, on my screen for, like, 20 minutes now. I assume that may have something to do with what's going on, but I have no idea. Anyway, I'm just gonna uninstall Python from my... Oops. And you tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I genuinely have no idea. So I have the launcher and I have the version. Can I keep the launcher? Okay. I had the installer itself set the path variables, but I did verify that they were set. It was the Python 313 folder and another path for the script in the Python 313 folder. Those were the ones that were set. Do I have build tools installed? I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna say no. Can I press... Excuse me. Okay. So I have the exe here. Can I just run the same one? Or that's what I got from pressing this button? Oh yeah, the VM folder. Where is that project? Just open a new window. Oh, I guess I didn't need to delete or empty out the file. For some reason I thought we were going to delete the project. It's fine. And then add Python exe to path. Customize. Okay. And then this is what I checked when I had it before, because I originally didn't do this, and then every time I tried running either Py or Python, it said that Python was not found in the terminal. The PowerShell terminal. Okay. And then do I need to do any of these as well? I don't think I do. So just hit install. Click free threaded as well. You might want to play around with that at a later stage. Okay, I don't really understand what that means, not gonna lie. Anything else? Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, that's... It shouldn't take too long, at least from what I remember. Let me actually just open the project in Visual Studio again. So I can just put this all back. And then I'll just close it and reopen it once this is done. Oh, you're right, because I'm noticed. I swear to God, I did not do anything differently, with the exception of the threading thing. Yeah. I assume I just do this one. Or should I create another virtual environment first? Oh, yeah. This one. And then yes. And then can I just run demo.py? Oh, cool. Nice, so if I do this, for example, this should throw an error. Or rather, yeah, that's cool. That's what I want. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because I probably would have not known what to do in that case. Now what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was doing this. I was making a label, and I was saying if there is no label, no categories, make a label to show that. So I want it to be not applicable. And then we're just gonna do this, and we'll do this. And we'll just make this. And I did see if I can just do if. Was it not? Let me try to get on my own first. Is it is not? No. Or is it not like this? Okay, cool. And then if I make it this should print something else. Cool. So then now I want a label which would just concatenate all of these saved categories. I know how to do that in JSON with joins with a new line. Let me see if there's something similar to that with Python. String function join. I think there is a method called join. Or function, rather. It is. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's interesting. That is... This language is going to need some getting used to. So I need to say... this dot join and then this, and then it will run. That just prints it out. Cool. Interesting. I guess I can actually play music again. And then, so I want to make a label where the... Can I overload methods or functions in Python? Python overloading functions. You generally don't need to. I don't care if I don't generally need to. I want to in this case. I could use default. Okay, sure, I could use default functions or default parameters where I set... Because I really just want to make it so label, or rather the window, is the master, default master. can I do this? Where do I call window? Right here. And then I would want to switch this. I don't... It would have to be right here. No argument. Yeah. So I need to switch this. And that means I need to change these two. So let's try, actually, let's comment this out for a second and then call this. So it's just categories. Okay. Cool. That's fine. Not what I wanted specifically, but that's fine. And then, so for... I don't need this. I don't need this. And then I can just put this here. And then... Yay. But instead of that, I want a new line. Cool. So... now I want to make it so... this has a button next to it called select, and then another button next to it called delete. So let's go back to the video. Also, I will be going soon because I have not eaten all day. But I may be back afterwards. Okay. Okay, honestly, I think it would just be easier just to have a method called make... I'd rather just have the master just be this. Can I find all references? What is it called in VS Code? Oh, it is find all references. Cool. And then just change the window. Because I know I'm planning for this to have multiple windows, or rather, at least change. And I think it would be easier if I don't code myself into a bubble, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna get the general layout done, and then I'll get the functionality done after I come back. This can be up here, but it doesn't really matter. This is gonna use some sort of saving, most likely from a JSON, to import and export this. I can get rid of this. Set up the window. This actually might be an object. I'll worry about it in a minute. If there are no categories, make sure the label does that. Otherwise, list the categories with their own label. So I need a frame. So I need a for loop. And I remember for each loops being rather iffy compared to Python, I mean C# and Java. But do I want to let's just do a for loop first, and then I'll figure out how to do a for each loop. I don't trust AI. I just don't. Okay, it's not that hard. I don't know what I was thinking. This is literally how... Maybe I was thinking of... This is a for each loop, but how do you do a for loop where you need the index? Oh. Well, there goes my equation. Interesting. Alright, so we're just gonna do a for loop. So we're gonna say for category in category, save categories. We're going to make a label, and in this case we don't need the join. What'd I do wrong? Oh, whoops. Okay, and now I want a frame. So I would need to do TT input. We're gonna say category frame. Actually, do I need this? Yes. Category frame. I remember this needs to be in snake case. TTK.frame window, or master equals window. No semicolon. No, yeah, no semicolons. I just have a label and I just have a select button. TTK button is master, and we're gonna say category frame. And the text is going to be select. And then I want to put said things inside category frame, so I gotta do select pack, I believe. Yeah. And then let's comment this out and then see what happens. Or actually, I want your master to be this, and that was already packed. Cool. Alright. That didn't do what I wanted to do. Because I didn't... Nope. Did I forgot to pack this. Do I have to pack... Okay, no I don't. Cool. Okay. So, first of all, I want the button to be after the label. Or rather, I want this to be horizontally. And then we're gonna have a delete button. And because I'm doing this multiple times, this is where you get a method to just make a button. Button. I'm just gonna steal this. Put this here, put this here, and then change this to master and say change text to text, and then return button, even though I don't think I'm using it ever, but you'll never know. And then so I can just name this make button to be, what were the parameters? Text, so that'll be select. And then the category is this. And no... Then I want another button, and the button is going to be delete. Yes, cool. Now, tell me how I do these. horizontally. God, okay. So in this case, I want side to be a variable. Not a variable. A default. It'd be none in this case. What happens if I do this? Side equals side. It's gonna crash or... Nope, okay, great. So then if I make a button where I say the side is left, this as well, they should be next to each other? Yes. Great, cool. And then do the same thing here. And then actually use it down here. And yeah, that's what I want, pretty much. I just need to add some padding like he said. And then we're going to... And then let's see if that works. Cool, so then if I do 10, I should see something down there. Great, so then just do the same thing here. And then make this... I don't like how it's one word, but I'm doing it just to be consistent. Actually, I don't need this. It just needs to be 10. And then add 10 here, which I actually just might make a variable. Okay. I'm never using PadX, that's why. I'll tweak this later. But yeah, that's generally what I want. So then I just want a button that will add a... called add category, and I'll make that at the bottom. Category is... or actually make button. And then this will be window. And I don't care about the rest. Yeah. We'll do some padding in a minute. This is very similar to Windows Form to me. Okay, let's make a function that will delete a category. Def delete category. Also, the only thing that I'm thinking that will confuse me is similar to JavaScript, how these don't have variables. Like this isn't a string. Wait, can I do this? If I can spell, please let me spell string. No, I can't do that. Or can I do str? Oh, that's what it is. What is side? That's also a string. And this is a number. I don't know how to do numbers in Python. Yes, types. Int, floats, and complex. Okay. Can I have multiple? Well, in this context, I don't think it will make sense, but... Is there a way to have, like, this to also be an int and a float? Or is that, like, overloading, and that's not existent? Oh, I see. It's a bar. I need to look at the documentation for TK enter label. And then let's just look for paddx. This option is used to add extra space between left and right. The default value of this option is 1. Great. Do you accept floats? Can I say none? Yeah. Whatever, I'm just gonna assume that it only takes in floats. I mean ints. And this would technically also be wrong. And then master, I have no idea what... float actually covers in as well. That is true. I'll just leave master as any because I don't know if it's like object oriented where okay, it's also like yeah, that's an object. I don't know if like every component in TTK is like inherits from the same class, like an abstract class. Also, question. So right now I have like this set of parameters that takes in text, master, string, whatever. And these three right now, or these two are default, or like they're optional parameters because they have default values. So now I'm adding another default value, or no, I don't even want this. Do I want this to be default? Should every button have required to have a command? I'm gonna say yes. So, no, I don't want it to everything to require a command. I I could. What's wrong with this? Expected indent block. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure that. We'll fix that in a minute. So wait, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but whatever. I would just say make button with command. And then what it will do is it will take in every single thing in here. And first of all, this needs to be snake case. And then, this needs to take in a command. I don't know what a command is yet, but we'll figure that out. And then what I will do is call make button with the exact same parameters, or just call this pretty much text master pad X. That's fine. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm missing side. Cool. And then get button. And then how does he do the command? Oh, he does it in the he does an initialization of the button. Actually, we'll just do this and see what happens. We'll say it's none for now, and then we'll just put it in afterwards and see what happens. Then we'll delete this, and then we'll just say delete category and fix this later. You could make it a keyword only, so it's clear what command you are passing. I don't follow. What is the star doing in this case? I don't understand. Oh. Wait, then make button command high. Like just the word keyword? I don't understand what the word keyword means in this context. Can I not do callbacks? Boo. Maybe let's look at the tutorial. Sorry, I'm just looking at stuff. So you have argument 1, which is a string, argument 2, which is the int, and then this, and then command, which is whatever. Oh. So it's basically saying, like, if I have a lot of default parameters, I can, like, choose which ones I want. I think there's some, what is it, like, called in, like, C# optional parameters? Named parameters, yeah, I think. It means it has to be named when using it, so, okay. So I'm still forced in this case to write out side and pad x in that order if I want to, like, use command afterwards. Because I do want side and pad x to do that as well. So after here, and then if I'm gonna act like this doesn't exist yet. I'll figure that out in a minute. So I would have to say side like this, and then do the same thing for. I did the wrong one. No, I didn't. Pad X. Why is this yelling at me? Only one separator allowed, so does that mean I can do this? Or no? Oh, okay, anything after the star, okay. So I want this. So does that mean I can do this? I'm sorry if you already answered this question. I'm just, like, learning. Okay, it's cool. Wait, now I want... I want this to call but then use a specific category, which does not seem to be the case, as this guy is telling me to get the entry. Entry is what? Entry get. Hang on. But in this case, I don't really want a variable because I don't have an entry. I just want to know what the name of the subsequent category I'm deleting, which is A, B, or C in this case. That's not what I really want. I mean, theoretically, I can make an quote-unquote entry int for each thing, but that's... I think it would just be easier if I could just do a callback function. I need like a video example. Wait, can I... Does that mean I just can't do, like... this? I specifically need to make a function called, in this case, like, callback function, or what they call a greet me, that takes and said callback function and then whatever the parameter is. There has to... No way. No way. Oh, I don't like this. A callback function? Or are you asking me, like, what's callback, or are you asking me what's a callback function? Because callback in this case will be a delete category. And I should... Yeah. It's just a function. I don't know if there's, like, a way to do something like this in Python, where I can just then call delete category. And then set category name. I tried this, it just didn't work. I don't know if it's a different syntax or... Or do I have to do it a different way? Okay, no, so that did not work. Because it called it immediately. Which makes sense because I invoked it. Um... I'm looking at this example right here with lambdas. I'm unsure what a partial is in this case. Uh, unless I did it wrong. Should command just be button? Oh, lambda. Okay. There has to be an easier way to do that. Like, do I need my callback, or can I just... Or actually, can I just do this? I feel like one of these methods is unnecessary. Unless I'm just, like, misunderstanding. Oh, I see. So, and I can just name this delete categories. Okay, so the word I was looking for was lambda. Okay, I understand now. Great. It's just a thing called lambda. It's not a parentheses equals less or greater than. Okay. I made that a lot more confusing than I needed it to. I apologize. Why are they all C? God damn it. Why are... Oh no. Why are they all C? I'm gonna act like that did not happen, and I'm going to... Oh... Is it because, like, when I do delete category, it checks the last one and then overwrites it? That doesn't make sense, because wouldn't my lambda mean you're calling... Because there are three different methods. I mean, three different buttons. Theoretically. Whatever, I'm just gonna do this print. Add. Press. I'm gonna make these so I can use... Okay, well, maybe, unfortunately, Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so I was going to say, maybe I do need to make what they ever call, like, an entry int, or, like, in this case, I guess a label string for each label here, but that doesn't make sense because the label is literally the category, so the category should be the same here, but I don't... I have an idea. Python callbacks in loops always are not working. See, that's generic enough. I'm trying to run a callback loop and finding issues executing the following so the function gets executed for loop complete. For loop has 2 iterations and the function is executed for 2 loop iterations. If the loop doesn't wait for the callback, it's asynchronous. That means all your loop does is initiate a search. Oh, this is asynchronous stuff. I don't really care. Let me actually, just for sake of sanity. Yep, I don't get it. Also, can I do, how do I do string interpolation in Python? Python string interpolation. Okay. We're just gonna put that here, and then we're gonna say F, hello. Alright, we're gonna actually just steal this. I wonder if there's a way to verify like this is only an issue for like when I'm using the command here. Go back down the for loop for a second. Yeah. That's really unfortunate because I am planning to make the categories dynamic. Alright, okay, I will try to do something else. What if I made it so I did category variable? I don't really care what this is called. I'm gonna pray to God this doesn't work so I don't do it. I have to do it like this. Where I just take the label and just say category.get. Unfortunately not. What happens if I actually do this? Const or print, or actually just run callback? Oh, that's... yeah, this must be a thing with TK. Let me try one more thing. Where I say, let's say the variable, or, make a list of saved... I don't know, category labels. And it will always be empty. And then we will push the category or rather the label, to here. Or is it add? Append? Yeah. And then, just for the heck of it, I'm going to print out said list to make sure I did it correctly. Yeah, this doesn't tell me anything, but there are 3 objects. Cool. So what did this guy do? He has entry tk int var. And where is this? Where's this code? You have a get, don't you? No, you don't have a get here. So I don't care about this. You don't have a get here either. So how did you manage to do this? Can I make an empty or rather a list with a certain size already defined? Python initialize list with size. Yeah, this is not really what I want, but... Or at least this is a weird jank thing, I feel like. And then what I can do is... No, this is not what I want. Well, yes and no. So I do want it to be a size of however many this is. And then I do want output to be, or rather category label variable to be tk string var, and then when this is defined, make the text variable and then we'll add category labels to... I don't want to get the index, so we're going to make this empty by default. And then we'll just append it. And then instead of that, we run this, and then pray to God that it works. What? Oh. Nope, I don't get what's wrong. Make label is missing. I don't see what's wrong with this. I have a category. I have a text. I do not have a text. Yes, I do. It's right there. It's a category. The master is the frame. The side is defined. Pad X is defined. The text variable is defined, which is right here. I don't... Make label is missing one required key. You didn't oh. I didn't do the... Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. Wait, actually, let me, like, print something else out, and it's the same thing. Okay, this doesn't tell me anything. Okay. Okay. So then I want to set... this... to category. I gotta forget to not keep pressing Control C when I can just close it. Nope, still doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh my god. This seems like too much work hassle for something that like is supposedly supposed to be very simple. I'm kind of happy it didn't work because this is very jank, but at the same time I don't know what is happening here. Now, why the heck could... I'm contemplating making this like a Stack Overflow question. But I don't like asking questions on Stack Overflow because they can be kind of uh stuck up, I guess is the word I can use. Alright, I'm gonna make this post and I'm gonna end the stream. Because I don't think I'm gonna get an answer anytime soon. Or maybe I will, but who knows. Alright, so first of all, I need to make so my code is just showing the specific things I want. So actually, I want to make it so def select category, which is pretty much just going to do the same thing as delete category. It's just literally just going to do a lambda. And then it's just going to do select category, which is just this. But other than that, it should do the same thing. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. I don't care about this, but I do want to do make labels. Yeah, so both of these have the same issue, which makes sense. Uh, Wait a minute, hang on. This might be what I was looking for. This homework assignment tag indicates as part of a big computer science. I'm writing Jeopardy. I don't care. I'm having a big problem regarding lambda functions. But assume root TK categories for a list. Oh my god, literally same name. That's funny. Anyway, get the name of the category for the display. Label. So you're saying a label here. I don't know what a B is. Oh, B is a label. I don't know why you named it B. I hate single named variables, but anyway. Create a list of buttons that the variable root buttons. Okay. In a for loop, make the button. Okay, so you're making a 5x5 grid, presumably. Button, whatever. And then you have, where's the lambda? Alright, you have a select function. For lambda, where the problem seems to occur, because when I click any button, it always goes to the last one on the board. I've tried other approaches, unfortunately using lambda is not seeing the approach. Alright, for your original code, what is B? B is a label, okay. For original code, the label is not a local variable of the lambda. Lambda is found in a closing scope. Once the for loop is completed, B returns its last value. That is why the lambda function always uses the last button. If you define the lambda to take one argument with a default value, the default value is determined and fixed at the time the lambda is defined. I don't get that. I hate things that are just named... If you define the lambda to take one argument with a default value, okay, this is a little bit easier to understand. Alright, create game URL. So you have a for int I equals 0 while I is less than 3. I don't know. Self button, append button self, contain. And you have open this. Alright, hang on. I'm trying to create a for loop. Create button, save what's a for loop. After each pass, I count the I count value out an argument as an argument into the command value. So when I call the function, when the function is called from the command value, I can tell which button was pressed and act accordingly. Problem is, it says length 3 when I create 3 buttons, titles game 1 through 3, but when any of the buttons are pressed, it always prints 2. Last iteration. So it appears the buttons are being made as separate entities, but the I value and the command argument seems to always be the same. Holy shit, that worked. Great. Okay. I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah. Now, how I've been muted for who knows how long. I'm very apologize. I apologize a lot. But yes, it does work. I just had to read a lot of Stack Overflow. But I'm happy that it works. I think this is a good place to stop. I'm just going to make the repository off screen. And actually eat something. Thank you, Misty Pie, and sorry, I don't remember who the other person was here. TB Josh for